Do you guys remember Papa John, the pizza guy? Not Shaquille O'Neal, who is his replacement, the current Papa, if you will. He took over the franchise, but there was a reason for that. And it was an ugly reason. Racism. I believe. We're gonna watch this Patrick CC video because he just dropped one, coincidentally, about Papa John. Why Papa John isn't actually associated with his own brand anymore. It's probably because of this damn phone call, the leaked phone call that ruined his life. Do you guys remember in like 2016, Papa John was going on the H3 podcast trying to like repair his image? He still was fired, not associated with the brand anymore, but trying to save face a little bit. And I don't think it worked. I think it was a very fever dreamish appearance.
Over 40 pizzas in the last 30 days. I would just say, stay tuned. The day of reckoning will come.
Papa John Schnatter was
I might have to check that out if it's not included in here.
Trusted smiling face of a multi-billion-dollar pizza empire, but one leaked phone call
Scared of Freddy Krueger? Well, that's reasonable because he's a very scary character and he says bad words like bitch.
Using a racial slur destroyed his company.
Not as bad as those ones though.
Reputation
Bad
forever,
Papa.
and his
Not
response
my
to the
Papa.
backlash could not have been worse, claiming that he spent nearly 2 years in a sort of racist rehab to stop himself from saying the slur.
And
They
we've
have
had
that?
3 goals for the last 20 months to get rid of this N-word in my vocabulary and dictionary and everything else.
He went to a racism rehab, dude. I wonder if it worked. I wonder if he's a changed man. Freaking... To answer your question, Brian, no, I'm not quite high enough, and I don't think that
although this could be
any amount of mind-altering substances could have prepared me for this, even though I already remember this happening.
In history, and there is no excuse for using a slur, John constantly tried to convince the world that this was all a calculated setup by people who wanted him exiled from his company. And when you hear the full story, he might not seem that crazy.
Bro, he was set up. Clearly. They made him. They dragged the word out of his mouth. How'd they do that?
There are even a small number of OG Papa John's fans who think he is innocent and are campaigning to
500 people think that he's innocent, dude. The Papa John's fandom is small, but dedicated. Please sign this petition if you're on our side.
State him
the
as
wrong
CEO.
side of history.
One thing everyone agrees on is that the
What up, Mason? Of course I'm reading chat. How
pizza
goes?
quality was much better when he was still in charge, because today they have
I mean, my reading comprehension skills are low. I will not lie.
seemingly abandoned their promise to make better pizza with better ingredients. Today we're going to assess the crash and burn of John Schnatter's career and
It's Papa freaking John! Say it right, dude.
reputation to determine if it was all a calculated setup. John Schnatter quickly developed a reputation for being a ruthless, no-nonsense businessman, but to compete with giants like Domino's, Pizza Hut, and Little Caesars,
Why does he look like he killed a man in Reno just to watch him die? Just wondering.
Necessarily going to thrive by being a nice guy. Ironically, his persona to the public was the happy-go-lucky, trustworthy spokesman for the company.
The Papa John's lonniedos special would be a nun pizza with left beef, like the famous meme. What the hell is this pentagram shit he's making here? This is demonic.
Which created a difficult-to-manage dynamic between...
Do I still live with the life hack guy? I assume you're talking about Robbie Epic Sauce, and no, I do not. He still lives in Las Vegas. I'm in Minnesota.
Who he actually was and
I see
who
him
the public
sometimes.
thought he was.
We are still friends.
John proved his entrepreneurial skills when he saved his father's business from going bankrupt.
Damn, young
Nick's
Papa.
Lounge in Jeffersonville, Indiana was a local tavern that
What
was
up, Velo?
desperately in need of a new business strategy in the early 80s, so John took over.
We cleaned the pool tables up, we cleaned the food up, we put
Cleaned it
handsome
all
bartenders
up.
behind the bar.
Everything but our mouths and our potty mouths. Our language.
We had a euchre tournament on Thursday. We had a little King's Night on Tuesday.
Papa yapping, dude. We do not care.
While John has said that fixing the bar was a dream, he actually hated the idea
Pizza
of
with peanuts is so good. I've never even heard of that, but I'll take your word for it. It doesn't sound bad in your defense.
running bars for a career. I didn't like the bar business. I didn't like all the fights, all the cussing, the drinking,
Yeah,
but I loved
cussing is
running
bad.
a business. John's real obsession was pizza. He fell in love with it while working as a dishwasher at a local restaurant called Rocky's Sub Pub.
All right, hold on. I'm sure we're gonna freaking get there, but I'm pulling up the damn clip of him saying, what did he say in his like famous interview that he eats like 5,000 pizzas a day? 40 pizzas. 40 pizzas in a month. 30 days.
I've had over 40 pizzas in the last 30 days. Living currently in Mark Shapiro's
Why is he so sweaty? Do you think it's just because of the pizza pumping through his arteries?
in jail.
Begrudgingly.
He has no pizza experience. He's never been in the pizza category. I would just say, stay tuned. The day of
Stand by.
reckoning will come. The record will be straight.
Why not set the record straight now?
Why not let
what
the
is it
record
about
be
the
gay?
record that's not straight.
Stay tuned.
What a scary man. Anyway.
And I was washing dishes at Rocky's.
He was on Graham's
and I hated
Steph
washing
Hand?
dishes. And so you weren't allowed to make
What up, Gyro?
pizzas
How
unless
goes?
you were a Fondrisi.
Welcome,
Joe
welcome.
Dillon or Frank Fondrisi. So they got a good write-up in the scene. The thing took off.
I'm learning about Pizza
And,
Papa
so
Jan.
I
Better
went from
ingredients,
washing dishes to
worse
making
language.
pizzas, and that's when I knew that's what
How old are you, 40? How old do I look? I still have youthful light in my eyes for my 48. I mean, shit. You're right. Right on the money.
Schnatter brought his father's bar back from the dead, paid off the $60,000 in
Dude, he did a
debts,
bar
and started
rescue.
making pizzas in a broom closet to sell to the customers. The
Way
customers
before it was
loved
cool,
the pizza, and the
if
demand
ever.
got so high that John purchased the shop directly next door and established the very first Papa John's location. John was a 21-year-old dreamer who was willing to work until he could no longer stand. He was always thinking of ways to make a better product as fast as possible for the best price. Like when he upgraded from baker
2007, I was in 7th grade.
pride ovens
So like
that could
13.
make him $1,000 in a day,
Not to age
conveyor
myself,
ovens that could make
but
him
that's my exact
$1,000
age.
per hour without breaking a sweat. Once the first Papa John's location was earning $9,000 per week in revenue, John's confidence turned into what he even admits was borderline delusion.
I'm all pumped. I'm ready to go. I'm excited. We go down to Domino's.
He's
and it's
excited.
about 3 miles down
Bricked
the road
up.
from Grants Plaza.
Pizza
I
oven,
walk in there.
firing on all cylinders.
You know, hell, I'm 22 years old.
Sure.
We're doing 9,000.
No,
I said,
you're
What are
not.
you doing a week? You know, he said we're doing 6,000 a week, and I just basically looked at the guy and I said, we're going to kick your ass in the whole world.
You
Now-
said that.
The section of the video is called Pizza Dictator, dude. So I guess we're just covering Papa's rise to power, dude. But nothing would pay me enough to watch the PBD podcast. Skipping ahead.
And they all get fat and happy. And so
I mean, I've never seen Freddy Krueger, but I imagine he's pretty scary. I like the movies, though.
soft. The concept of sitting on the couch, eating Doritos, watching TV, or drinking beer or Cokes, what a waste of life.
Maybe the
Damn.
big three pizza franchises doubted that Papa John's could become a real threat, and he was comfortable with being the underdog. However, in 1993, everything changed. Papa John's became a publicly traded company, and after their IPO, they generated $25 million in investment capital, which was plenty of money to open thousands of locations across the United States. This is where the real takeover began. Unlike
Oh, yes.
competitors who used mascots or attractive logos to promote the brand,
Like the Noid, popular pizza mascot of a rival chain, the Noid. You guys might not remember if you were not born until, I don't even think I know what the Noid is. Was that like the 80s? It could have been before my time. Not sure. What up, EFJ?
John made himself the official spokesperson of Papa John's.
I have no
he
power.
came off
Me
as
too.
humble, hardworking, and honest.
Oh, like no power in your house? I thought you meant like spiritually. Like we're all pretty powerless in the grand scheme of things. Damn, that sucks. Are you watching on the dang phone?
Commissioned independent
Hope it comes
taste
back.
tests. Papa John's won big time. Maybe that's because our sauce is made with fresh
Better
packed,
ingredients,
vine
better
ripened
Papa.
tomatoes. Pizza Hut uses
But not for long.
remanufactured paste. Anybody can
Wow, that does look like ice cream, dude. Is that really what they use? That's crazy.
Pizza, but it's you, the consumer, who've decided.
The advertisements just kind of plainly said, we're better because people think we are better. It's that simple.
Righto.
But Pizza Hut was not happy with these comparisons. They sued
I do like Papa John's. I don't know if it's as good as it once was or what they've changed, but maybe some pizza veteran can let me know in the chat. But I
Papa
think it's pretty
John's,
good.
but ultimately lost in the
For
U.S.
fast
Court of
food.
Appeals for the Fifth Circuit, which ruled that the slogan was puffery. The court said Papa John's claims weren't literally false, and thus didn't violate advertising laws. But how much validity was there to the better ingredients slogan?
What really
Let's get
makes
to
the
the
ingredients
down to
from
brass
Papa John's
tacks
better
here.
than those of the competitors? How do you really have better ingredients that make better pizza?
I think you say it this way: better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's. Another good question. The
Guy has his
you can't make
advertising media training on point. What a prick. Honestly, I'm talking to you. Don't look at the camera and break the immersion of the
yourself
audience. I'm
ourselves
talking to
out
you.
there. The reason our ingredients are better is because they cost more,
What is he, 4 foot tall? Holy.
and the reason they cost more is because they're real.
Well, it is true that none of the ingredients used
He's
were
right,
frozen,
though.
and every single pizza was made practically from scratch. Employees do everything in the
hot spot for
store
now? Hell
besides
yeah.
making the dough. The dough was hand-stretched and formed for each order. None of the produce or chicken products on a Papa John's pizza is older than 7 days in the store, all of which is kept in a 36-degree cooler. Pork and beef
That feels like it shouldn't be a novelty. However, we will persevere as a society.
No more than 12 days in the same cooler. So yes, you could call the pizza fresh, but that still doesn't exactly clarify the quality of the ingredients. But Papa John's strategically keeps that a secret.
How to make an iced coffee video? Dude, I gotta freaking double check. Side tangent. I mean, they were on a podcast called The Iced Coffee Hour, dude. This was my tutorial when I made iced coffee for the first time, so I don't think I knew what I was doing. But let's see anyway. Hey, there's my foot. Okay, I'm following you so far. So far, you made coffee. Over the hill! Dude, this mug would go so much harder now that I'm 40. And over the hill. I don't know. Maybe I'm bougie with my old age, but that looks kind of not good. Yeah, that's fake happiness. Anyway,
you see, if you look on their website, you'll see a simplified version of their ingredients they believe sound clean or natural. In the US, food manufacturers can legally omit certain additives if they are considered processing aids.
There were no additives in my iced coffee recipe, as you guys could see, because I was transparent from the get-go.
Or present
worst
in trace
ingredients,
amounts.
whatever I had,
John's
Mommy's
could have
house,
tons of
or Lonnie's
sub-ingredients
house, but
like
it was my mom's house.
anti-caking agents, emulsifiers, stabilizers, or preservatives that they don't legally have to disclose. Melanie Warner of US News tried to investigate what makes their ingredients better. When I called Papa John's customer toll-free number, I was told that for additional information on allergen or nutritional info, I should leave a message with Connie Childs, who would return my call the next business day. I left 2 messages, but Connie never called.
What the hell,
Public
Connie?
Relations wasn't much help either. My emails and voicemails went unanswered. Ironically, most people seem to agree that it isn't actually the pizza that got Papa John's famous. It's their garlic sauce that you dip the crust into, which was...
That is true, because using butter as a sauce and just having the audacity to pass that off as a concept, pretty baller, and pretty game changer, and pretty unbeatable. I mean, better ingredients, better butter, you don't have any.
Original recipe created at the very first store. These days, it is made with a slew of additives, mono and diglycerides, partially hydrogenated soybean oil, and the preservatives sodium benzenate.
Dude, I put this in my coffee these days.
Calcium disodium EDTA. So just because Papa John's used better ingredients didn't mean it was even considered remotely healthy.
It's not even
Americans
pizza.
didn't care. By 1999, Papa John's had scored a 76 on the American Customer Satisfaction Index, above...
That not only did they clear all of the mediocre pizza brands out there, but they also are better than Wendy's, I guess, according to somebody in 1999. Better ingredients, better Papa, better than Wendy's. Put it on the box. That looks gross.
Countless
I
other
agree.
fast food giants. Their stock price was peaking around $8 per share, had over 2,300 locations,
Did
earned
you guys
over
invest?
$800 million in total revenue. By all
Cha-ching!
means, Papa John's was here to stay, and John
He's got a
Schnatter
gun!
was set for life. And even though John
Whoa!
portrayed himself as the humble hard worker, there is no doubt he was enjoying his hundreds of millions. Schnatter moved the corporate office into a luxurious new headquarters in Louisville, Kentucky. He purchased a massive piece of land and built a castle on the outskirts of Louisville, complete with what literally looks like a city built underground.
So right now we're 1 story below ground level, and what you could see...
Have you guys seen the movie Tusk? Because if I was Grant Stephan and I had also seen the movie Tusk by Kevin Smith, I, as a podcaster, would not go to Papa John's Pizza Castle. Especially after his cancellation, I feel like a podcaster is in a vulnerable situation doing this.
It looks like a little city. This is incredible.
He might not come out of those doors.
The door, but this is the garage. This is what's so remarkable about it. It kind of reminds me of
he's walking to his doom like deer in the headlights, dude.
With the painted ceilings, and the garage just keeps going down. I mean, what I would do for a garage like this.
Success gave John Schnatter power, and he wasn't shy about using it. He wasn't just the boss, he was the king, and he admits that he was extremely stubborn and stern with his power.
But I'm literally like, it's my way, the highway. If you didn't do it my way, you know, I was bad. It was a benevolent dictator with an attitude.
And although John's leadership and tenacity made for groundbreaking advancements in the company, such as being the first pizza company to accept online orders in 2001, ultimately his inability to do anything other than his way led to a steady decline in the business. After profits dropped 3 years in a row, the board decided it was time for John to step down. In 2005, they replaced him with Nigel Travis, former COO of Blockbuster. But Nigel only lasted 3 years as the head of Papa John's. And
Guy had no pizza experience. Dude was right.
Stepped back into the CEO position almost immediately. Interestingly enough, in the press release announcing Nigel's departure, they wrote, "We are pleased that John has once again agreed to lead the company, albeit on an interim basis, until we can identify a permanent replacement." It's interesting that the company
Shaquille O'Neal, perhaps?
seemed to want to move
I'm sure that was their first
John's
guy.
leadership. But why? This is the guy who built and led the company to be worth over $1 billion. Is he not the most
he was a no-good
suitable
racist,
man
I
for the
think.
CEO position? Why did they want to replace him so badly? Because
He's
to the
not our
public,
dad.
John seemed to be more in love with the company than ever. He remained the spokesperson of the company, appearing in TV commercials, advertising stunts like completing the world's highest pizza delivery in history at the top of the Sears Tower.
Who is doing this? Okay, clear. They have to work for him, right? No one is actually chanting and cheering for Papa John, right? They got fans like that?
And even throwing half-court shots in front of a sold-out Kentucky basketball stadium.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be welcome back there again.
This guy did so many commercials, you would think he might actually show up to your house and personally deliver you a pizza when you ordered from your local Papa John's.
I would not accept that. If he showed up to my house, I would not let his sweaty ass in the front door. I would defend myself.
We got pizza. I'm John with Papa John.
Good God. He's actually doing it.
House. How about some Papa John pizza?
Dude, this should be a Five Nights at Freddy's game. That is terrifying.
Since the company was thriving due to his enthusiasm and the public's adoration for Papa, one wrong move
Little Caesar's better, you don't read chat. Dude, how can I freaking read all that blasphemy?
Seriously damage everything.
You're just
And as
telling me
social
facts
media
I can't
made it harder
handle.
for any controversy to stay hidden, it was only a matter of time before we would find out why the leadership wanted him to step down
Oh,
years
shit, this
ago.
is where it
That
gets
moment
juicy,
came in
guys.
2012 when John Schnatter criticized the Affordable Care Act, better known as Obamacare. He claimed that if the law went into
Okay, maybe not exactly where it gets juicy, but politically speaking, I suppose we were correct.
effect, Papa John's would be forced to raise the price of their pizza by 11 to 14 cents per pie just to cover employees' health care. On an earnings call with shareholders, John said, "We're not supportive of Obamacare, like most businesses in our industry. If Obamacare is in fact not repealed, we will find tactics to shallow out any Obamacare costs and core strategies to pass that cost."
The crazy thing is, when you own a pizza chain, I don't remember asking about it, what you believe. Shut the fuck up, dude. How to unsubscribe?
Might finally realize
That's
his
what I'd be
pizza
doing to that
is what's
email.
sending them there in the first place. The multimillionaire CEO who built his empire off blue-collar workers came off as tone-deaf, especially when he casually mentioned that franchise owners should just cut workers' hours instead of giving them health care. The controversy exploded into a massive news story.
Several people I spoke with said if it's going to cost them 3 extra cents to order a pizza so a Papa John's employee
3?
can have health insurance, they're fine with that. Others told me it's bad business.
Outrage sparked online. A viral Reddit post said, "There's plenty of places to get cheap pizza in the world. Anyone
Facts.
else ready to boycott Papa John's?" This was one of the first moments where the public began to see cracks in the Papa John persona. And what you will notice is that both of his next major controversies happened almost the exact same way. Keep in mind that his Obamacare comments were made during an earnings call in 2012. Earnings calls are often recorded and transcribed for transparency. These calls can be described as semi-private. They're not necessarily public-facing, but they're usually accessible to a wide range of people: investors, analysts, other employees. So if a CEO says something controversial
cat's
during
name
one
is
of
Loomis.
these calls, it only
Loomis
takes
the
one
cat.
person to share it with a journalist, blogger, or TV personality for the whole world to know about it. John couldn't help himself but let his personal politics bleed into the conversation. Obamacare was a deeply divisive topic at the time, and that's because any attempt to create a somewhat reasonable healthcare system in the US has been a massive hot button issue. Then again, most of the opposers are not regular,
Loomis for
hardworking
president,
people,
I
but
agree,
rather
dude.
rich
It
oligarchs.
sounds like this guy should have stuck to the script and freaking not got exposed afterwards, but he kind of pre-exposed himself to be exposed. But obviously, hurling slurs around at people, way worse than differing politically, opinion-wise. Just my thoughts. Hot take.
This wouldn't be the last time something he said in what he thought was a private setting would make headlines. Because in 2016, his political comments about the NFL would cause even more public outrage.
What did he say?
In 2016, racial tensions in the United States were reaching new all-time highs. Many communities were still processing the acquittal of George Zimmerman, who shot 17-year-old Trayvon Martin while on neighborhood watch. We started seeing more funding for police body cams to ensure safety for both officers and citizens, and the divide
And we were preparing for all of the reaction streamers who were going to watch them.
to the establishment and
need more
worldwide
body
visibility
cams.
of the Black Lives Matter movement. Black Americans weren't just frustrated. They reached a boiling point for generations of injustice, and millions were tired of staying
Shout
silent.
out Buster and Simba.
One man who joined the protest was San Francisco 49ers starting quarterback Colin Kaepernick, who refused to stand for the pregame national anthem and instead chose to sit.
There's a lot of things that need to change. One specifically is police brutality. This stand wasn't for me. This stand wasn't because I feel like I'm being put down in any kind of way. This is because I'm seeing things happen to people that don't have a voice.
The NFL issued a statement regarding the protest saying, quote, players are encouraged but not required to stand during the playing of the national anthem.
Right away, everyone was divided on the issue. Some felt that Colin was perfectly in line to do what he did. There's no law demanding that you have to stand for the national anthem. However, others felt that Kaepernick had gone too far. The national anthem is traditionally there before the big game to salute those who died to defend the homeland. And to some, this was interpreted as an insult to those who made that unimaginable sacrifice. But this wasn't just one game. It was an ongoing protest that lasted well over a year. Many players in the
Is
NFL...
this important context? What does this have to do with Papa John?
ago. We're certainly disappointed that NFL and its leadership did not resolve the ongoing situation to the satisfaction of all
I'm
parties.
assuming he talked shit about the player who didn't want to stand for the national anthem, but who gives a shit?
Leadership starts at the top, and this is an example of poor leadership. Not only was John criticizing a powerful business partner in front of investors,
well, depending on what he said,
but he also was aligning himself with a divisive political stance once again. His comments sparked backlash from multiple sides. Some thought he was unfairly blaming the NFL for his own incompetence as CEO. Some saw him as biting the hand that feeds him, as the NFL was massive exposure for the pizza chain. But ultimately, many saw him as extremely insincere, delusional, and possibly racist.
Possibly? Okay, so it couldn't have been that crazy, but it probably gets worse.
Americans
But wait,
who are
there's more.
exercising their First Amendment right in solidarity for Black Americans. As you can imagine, the backlash for John's comments came in full force. The controversy even led to white supremacist groups endorsing Papa John's as the official pizza of the alt-right,
Good
a
God.
title the company quickly and publicly
I
disavowed.
don't remember any of that. That's
Vowed,
crazy.
but still, the damage was done. 12 days later, after the company's stock had dropped 12%, they took to Twitter to try to stop the bleeding. The statements made on our earnings call were describing the factors that impact our business, and we sincerely apologize to anyone that thought they were divisive.
Oh, dude, brain rot makes my brain feel good, actually.
That definitely was not our intention.
The numbness
we believe in
tickles.
the right to protest inequality and support the players' movement to create a new platform for change. We also believe, as Americans, we should honor our anthem. There is a way to do both. This wasn't really much of an apology, but rather just a statement of things that we already knew. Once again, John's inability to keep his personal politics out of his professional life cost him and the company big. 1 month later,
Classic
Schnatter
John.
resigned as CEO, but stayed on as chairman. Weeks
What up,
later, a
Galactic?
mutual agreement was met to terminate Papa John's as the official pizza sponsor of the NFL. They would be replaced
Why
with
does the NFL have a pizza sponsor, dude? Athletes can't eat that shit. At least not during game day or game season, or I don't really know. Seems unhealthy.
Pizza
it is.
Hut. The company was going downhill fast, but still with a chairman's seat, John Schnatter still had power. But he would, for the third time, say something on a conference call that would officially destroy his reputation forever.
Let's
After
hear it.
John's fight with the NFL, earnings were down by almost 50%. Brandon Roten, chief of marketing, felt it would be wise to reduce Schnatter's presence in TV advertisements, as
Facts.
well as reduce John's John's association with the company overall, since he was the sole reason Papa John's was ever in any controversy. It seemed like the company was looking to make John invisible, and he just couldn't handle the idea of being sidelined when he was responsible for all of Papa John's success. After months of arguments with his internal team, his executives sought a compromise to try to make everyone happy. In order to get things under control, the board made an agreement that John could stay on as chairman and still be the face of the company under one condition: if he accepted coaching from a PR firm called Oslin & Gage,
is that the racist
under the
rehab
ad agency Laundry Service.
Oh.
Papa John's hired Laundry Service for a new advertisement strategy, and Laundry Service brought in their PR team, Oslin & Gage, to specifically coach Schnatter on how not to destroy the brand any further, and the goal was to train him in modern media etiquette. And
he's getting media training at like age 50 when he's been doing this his whole life. That's crazy.
Contain his public
outbursts. It's never too late to go back to school, I guess.
His personal opinions on politics out of the pizza business. But during one of those training sessions between Laundry Service,
learning about the crimes of Papa John and why he's not our Papa no more. Better ingredients, but I should have picked his words better. What up, Cooper?
And John, he said something so reprehensible that the PR firm decided they did not want to help him anymore. On July 11th, 2018, Forbes published a headline that spread like wildfire. Papa John's founder used N-word on conference call, and the clip of the conference call was released.
What bothers me is Colonel Sanders called blacks niggers. I'm like, I've
what?
never used that word. And
I didn't get the comparison at first, but I suppose he's comparing himself to Colonel Sanders because that's like another famous fast food mascot, but, you know, not the same. I'm pretty sure Colonel Sanders, did he even exist?
Get away with it.
This was
he did exist, but he hated his own chicken. I reacted to a video about it, which I will put right here because I remember.
Third leaked phone call that made headlines. On the call, John and the PR firm were discussing his response to the NFL controversy. His suggestion that Colonel Sanders used to say the slur came off as deflective to his own offensive behavior. Sanders' grandson, Trig Adams, responded to John's comments saying, "He's a weasel. Because he's prejudiced, he's trying to say somebody else was too." Sanders had absolutely no prejudice against anybody. There were a few people that initially tried to defend John, saying that his use of the word was actually him calling out racism, which, even if it was, this was a terrible way to express it. Him claiming that he never used the N-word in the same breath that he just let the slur roll off his tongue seemed delusional. And in the same day news broke that John said the slur, he resigned from the Louisville University board. The Cardinal Stadium announced they would be removing the name Papa John's Stadium. The MLB cut all ties with the pizza chain, and Schnatter resigned as chairman of Papa John's. This was the
athletes are really not eating this pizza no more,
official
and rightfully
nail in the
so.
coffin for John's career and reputation. He issued an apology that nobody took seriously.
He had a PewDiePie bridge moment and he fucking blew it.
News reports attributing the use of inappropriate and hurtful language to me during a media training session regarding race are true. Regardless of the context, I apologize. Simply stated, racism has no place in our society. But John didn't believe what he said in that apology. He actually did seriously believe that the context of this conversation was extremely important, and if the general public knew, they would believe he got set up. And honestly, the details do look a little suspicious. You also have to consider that just 8 days after Forbes published the racial slur controversy article, they released another article called The Inside Story of Papa John's Toxic Culture, which portrayed John as a controlling, vindictive leader who created a culture of fear and intimidation within the company. The article included anonymous accounts from former employees describing verbal abuse, sexual assault, and reinforcing that John wasn't just careless with his words, but toxic at his core. The details of both of these articles would require months of energy and effort to produce, so there is no doubt that Forbes choosing to release these articles within a week of each other was calculated. I want you to take note.
Yeah, I've been on Domino's recently. I feel like they've stepped their game up, but also I needed a break from Papa John's. Not that this guy's involved with Papa John's anymore, dude. I can eat it with a clear conscience, knowing that only Shaquille O'Neal will appear on the box.
Of the little details in this article that most people skip over.
They're both good, though.
And that is all of the anonymous sources and them making claims that are almost immediately refuted. The article claims that John surrounded himself with loyalists by hiring his high school friend
Nightmare blunt rotation? 7 to 8 older guys, I don't know, all in shorts.
O'Hearn as a powerful executive and his longtime associate Steve Ritchie as CEO, which created a bro culture at the top.
It
Papa
looks
John's
like a
has
bro
effectively
culture,
been
I
a public
suppose.
company operated
Just the
like it is
bros.
privately owned. A veteran employee says, "Nothing is happening there unless John wants it to happen." They also go on to say that female employees were mocked and asked if they were menstruating. Male executives
True, we could avoid all of this if we simply just made pizza at home.
made references
true,
to
facts.
gangbangs and comments
What?
about whether women wanted to jump on the train. Schnatter disputed most of this story. Papa
Yikes.
John's did not respond to repeated requests for comment. Ritchie, for his part, did not respond to a request for comment, and O'Hearn contested portions of the story.
Play the Squidward clip where he's like, "We serve food here, sir."
The language here is key. Disputed most of the story, contested portions of the story. This allows Forbes to cover themselves legally while leaving the reader unaware of what is actually true or not. Like, here's a classic example of them trying to claim that John would cheat on his wife. One former executive says the married Schnatter would disappear for days on work trips, stirring suspicion that he was, quote, hooking up with girls. Schnatter denies this. So they make a random claim from an anonymous source, and then John denies it. So now it's up for you to decide if it's real. But in theory, they could make up anything with anonymous sources
Michael?
and just let
He
John
wouldn't
deny
do
it.
that.
Ironically, they even tried to pit executives
My
against
papa?
him, but it didn't work. Schnatter remained chairman but was relocated to offices 20 minutes away, where he fought for control, contesting everything the new CEO did and forced board members to choose between him and his CEO. When Forbes asked Nigel Travis about it, he denied, stating, "Most of the time, John and I had a very cordial relationship." Here's another example. Over time, Schnatter started to visit the main campus more often to learn what was going on. He allegedly recruited Papa John's employees to spy on their colleagues. He read workers' emails, according to 2 sources with knowledge of the episodes, and sometimes conducted business from disposable phones. Schnatter denies that he
Remember
acts
Chica from FNAF? Dude, of course. Remember the iShow Speed clip where he got way too excited to meet her.
emails or recruited employees to spy on each other. Every claim they make is immediately refuted. They even had an extreme lack of evidence hinting at alleged sexual misconduct.
Wait, don't tell me that they're gonna remove Papa John's as the official fucking pizza of Spider-Man. No, dude, we need that Marvel cosign. We've lost it all.
Workplace, but published it anyways. During the trip, there was an incident with a 24-year-old female Papa John's marketing employee that resulted in a second confidential settlement and the employee's swift departure. 3 sources tell Forbes they know of additional settlements between Schnatter and women involving inappropriate conduct, though details could not be confirmed by publication time. A female employee says that Schnatter asked about her bra size and whether she'd slept with her previous boss, and that he never let her pass in a hall without giving her a hug. He denies this. It's going to sound like I'm vehemently defending the guy, but this type of reporting does seem hard to take seriously, especially from a major publication like Forbes. So there was an incident with a confidential settlement, but the details couldn't be confirmed and John Schnatter denied. So we don't know what happened, why it happened, who it happened to, or how it was resolved. So why was that information published?
Who am I?
The most interesting detail most people skipped over was no sources cited in this article approached us. All were contacted directly. So a 30-year-old multi-billion-dollar company with thousands of employees watched their CEO get into multiple major public controversies and allegedly had created a toxic workplace of fear, spying, and misconduct, and yet nobody approached the media to tell their story, but rather the media came to them looking for the inside scoop. And even still, at John's lowest moment, they couldn't get one person out of the hundreds of thousands of people that worked for Papa John's to publicly confirm any of their claims. But the general public did not focus on these details. To most people, John was a racist, a toxic ruler of a pizza empire, and possibly a assailant, which is why most people thought he absolutely lost his mind when he started publicly claiming that he was set up and that the day of reckoning will come.
Well, that is an insane thing to say.
He was now on a campaign
No
to
matter
destroy
what.
the company he built for 30 years.
I would just say,
hey, we got there.
Stay tuned. The day of reckoning will come. The record will be straight.
Why not set the record straight now? I mean, what is it about the record that's not straight?
It's not straight.
Stay tuned.
Are these lights
How
all the
soon
way up? Are we sure? Can
will
we
that
get it any hotter in
Stay
here?
tuned.
For
Sooner
John.
than later.
This is actually really sad. He looks like he's on the verge of a mental breakdown and a path to insanity.
Looks like he's cooking a pizza with his mind right now. Okay, I get it. He looks crazy.
PR training.
Skipping ahead.
But it was now 2 years after the racial slur controversy, and he was hell-bent on convincing the world that the laundry service agency manipulated him into saying something racist. John also thought
I don't understand how we get from here to where he was like saying it all the time, or in a rehab for such behavior.
The best thing to do was release the full conversation.
I think there was only
he
the
had
one
with the
incident so
agency,
far,
saying that the public deserved the full context. And I listened to the full, unedited, hour-long conversation, so here's the context. In May of 2018, a private conference call between John Schnatter and the laundry service-appointed PR firm was recorded without John's consent. In this meeting, they were planning for John to go on a press run, which included an interview with Stephen A. Smith, as well as a few podcasters, so John could clarify his comments about the NFL kneeling situation and ultimately apologize. John wanted to do this because he found out that his franchisees' businesses were suffering due to the world thinking he was racist for criticizing the NFL players for kneeling. On this phone call, the laundry service representatives were essentially simulating an interview. They asked John to speak freely about how he actually felt about the NFL kneeling situation, and then they gave him feedback on his choices.
Don't ask him that. No one gives a shit. Ask him how he feels about people who are different than him.
Words, guiding him on what to say,
Fucking
what
idiots.
not to say, and how he can still remain true to his values while not making himself and the company look worse.
The NFL situation is not good for anybody, in my opinion, and I would have said it differently, so that in a way, certainly not to defend anybody that's kneeling, but to not further inflame the situation which I despise, which is the division of the country. That's how
Yeah, I don't understand why they asked this in such a softball way. Obviously, he's just going to say some bullshit. Who cares? I guess because they're a PR firm, so it is actually their job to do that. So fuck me.
He literally thought and said in this conference call that the NFL players kneeling was destroying.
I don't know if he was set up, but I mean, I feel like he was an easy guy to set up, if so.
The NFL and all of the brands associated with it. So John going on this planned media tour to talk about this NFL controversy all over again was not to try to express an honest apology. It was to try to carefully manufacture a new response that would be more acceptable for the public.
It's like if he was recorded against his will, that just like means someone recorded him on the phone, right? Like, in theory, you should be talking how you would like to be heard at all times, right? I mean, when I'm on the phone with somebody, I don't like code switch that hard. Like I would still say things that not necessarily that I would want to say on stream, but like just I mean, it would be pretty similar.
While not feeling like he was actually going against
I could have said
his
that
values.
way more eloquently,
when
but
I talked to
you know.
Smith, Peyton Manning, the Redskins, the Cowboys, I said, listen, you guys have got to lose. This is no good for anybody.
What a big
any of us. And then to Steve's point, I said, we got to find, 8 or 9 leaders in the country that are level-headed.
All right, I don't fucking care about this anymore. Is there anything else important in here, do you think? All a setup? I guess I'll leave that up to you. I feel like it's not, and maybe that's why it's not that interesting, but I'll link the full Patrick CC video in the description. Shout out to the water god himself. Papa John's, H3. Why does N-word come up in the recommended? Come on, filter that out. What's going on here? 5 years ago? I feel like this was way longer than that.
2. Welcome, everybody, to a truly Papa Bless.
This is like 18 lifetimes ago in terms of the H3 podcast.
But I think they're just a little more conservative.
Mm-hmm.
But I've always thought this would be a lot of fun. I hope I was right coming into this.
Yeah, you'd be.
Dylan Harvey donated $2 Canadian through Super Chat.
Shout out, Dylan.
I hope your channel hits 1 million subs someday, folded hands.
Appreciate you, dog. I mean, I hope so. Here's freaking fingers crossed. You never know. Appreciate your super chat, dog. Hope we're doing well today.
You're no longer.
Appreciate the support as always.
So, are you in a way? Is this a big middle finger to them now that we're doing this?
A big middle finger? No, not at all. I'm probably Papa John's biggest fan.
Even now.
I love pizza and I love people.
Bro is brooding in the shadows.
The people at Papa John's, they're the ones that made that company great.
He's not seething.
Build 5,000 stores.
He's over it.
Broom closet. And
he's here for nothing.
Great people, but no, franchisees, I love them.
What a
Well,
different
yeah,
world
man,
this was.
We're pulling for them. I'm their
Only
biggest
5
fan.
years
We
ago.
love the franchisees.
Wait, wouldn't that
We
be like
hate-
2020? This is not. Unless did he come back again? This was 2020. Oh, maybe he did.
The board of directors.
Or they re-uploaded it. I don't
Right?
fucking know.
I'll put the words in your mouth. Or I mean, I won't put the words in your mouth, but I'll say it for all of us here. Those sons of bitches. Are they? But they got to be scared that you're on here now. I mean, you got documents with pizza, literally
Maybe my
pie charts.
perception of time is
You
skewed.
got a pie chart with a pie on it.
Hoping
I
it's
don't
5
know
million
if it's the
subs.
right
Hell
word.
yeah, now we're talking.
We felt like some decisions being made the last couple of years were not exactly in the best interest of the system.
Listen, I see that media training is going swimmingly, Mr. Papa John. I'm not trying to hear it, but I mean, maybe in another 5 years, I'll be willing to hear him out. Probably not, though. I think each corporate mascot gets about 1 cancellation from me, I know. It's mostly because of woke and the way I was raised. Not right, I might add.